Good morning, folks. Welcome back. We are here. A little bit late because I had to check in for a flight, but no worries. It is done. Boarding pass acquired. Let's rock and roll. Melissa Lee, good morning. Good morning. How you doing? Thanks for being here. First today, the award goes to you, my friend. Good to see you. I liked your short story opening that you posted in Discord. That was sick. It was fun to read. Thank you for sharing it, and good luck with the contest. Is that for Writers of the Future? Let me know what you're doing it for. Simp1X, good to see you, buddy. Welcome in. Thanks for being here. How you doing, guys? Rich, you're back from Lit RPG Con. Dude, how did it go? How was it? I heard great stories so far. It sounds like it was a ton of fun, man. I'm sad that I missed that. But so it goes. Yeah, it sounds like it went off without a hitch, too. Everybody was just having a great time with it and whatnot. AJ, thank you for the tiny diny right off the bat, my dude. I appreciate you. You know the deal, AJ. Gift for a gift, buddy. That guy's for you right there. Melissa, it is for Writers of the Future. Rock on. I'm glad you're entering it. I hope it goes well. It was a wonderful contest. Last time I participated, I don't think it's changed since. Rich, you said it was great minus the fire. Yeah, I heard about that fire. I'm glad no one was hurt. I do very much blame it on my goblins, who must have been attending instead of me. Hey, yeah, Rafi, we were a little bit late today because I had to check in for a flight at 7:05 a.m. So, yeah, I needed to get that boarding pass locked down in my back pocket. But we're good to go now. Simp1X, you are correct. No stream this Friday and Monday. We'll be back on Wednesday. I'm going to be sad not to do it, y'all, but I appear to be well enough to travel. I have my doctor's blessing, and I do have tickets to San Diego Comic-Con. So, yeah, that's where I'm going to be this weekend. So that's going to be pretty cool. Mare Bear, I don't have subs enabled because I haven't looked into it enough, / I don't know what the value proposition is, I suppose. I guess I'll make a note to look into it a little bit. Yeah, so that's why it's not enabled yet. Disco, is it the keyboard you typed your novels on? Yeah, I typed most of them on this. Maybe 60% now. My laptop's where I've typed the others. That laptop's 10 years old now. I need to replace it, but I can't get rid of it because I've typed so many words on it. I'm too attached to it. Jack Ann, hello. Melissa, you said you're real nervous for Writers of the Future. You feel a bit too novice? Nah, there's no such thing as too novice, Melissa. I was entering that really, really early on in my career. There's literally no downside. If you don't win, all right, submit next time. It runs every quarter. Loinwater says, Asmongold with teeth. Boy, we're kicking it off early. There's Asmongold counter number 48. It ticks up again. Welcome in, Loinwater. Harpy, good to see ya. Jack Ann, hello. Guys, thanks for being here. Well, we ran a poll in Discord, and the votes are in. So, folks, today, it's going to be opening lines. The Discord has spoken. It was between this and Fantasy Map Friday. And this is what won out in a 12-8 vote. Biz on YouTube, how you doing? Good to see ya. But y'all, we have a couple titles from the last time we ran this that we didn't get to that I'd love to get to. Raph, you can go look at your bookshelf. Go for it, man. I got a couple titles. Let's go ahead and load them up in here. That I didn't have time to get to last time around. So let's get those loaded up, and then we will also take some new ones. Rich, you said, wait, where was it? Scrolled away. I start full production on Stumbling Up Audio this week. Dude, congrats. Rock on, man. That's going to be super fun. I'm so glad you got that. I hope that it goes incredibly well for you. And you get even more audiobook gigs out of it. Y'all, Rich is an aspiring audio narrator. And aspiring might not even be correct because I know you've narrated stuff before. You're just trying to make it into a full-time career, dude. Which, rock on. Nana, you said honorable Asmongold mention just to get you closer to 50. All right, we'll count it. We'll count it. That puts it to 49. I appreciate you playing along there, Nana. All right, we got this one. So that's almost all of the list. There's two more here. We're loading up this list early, and then we'll take everybody's suggestions on top of these. All right, last one is tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. Cool. I'm glad it auto-completed for me. I did not want to type that 3 times over. Okay. There we go. We've loaded them in. We have all of the titles that we didn't get to last time, and we'll take some new ones too. Other name, good to see ya. Welcome in. How you doing today, buddy? Happy hump day to ya. James Bartosh, thanks for following. What do you write, man? It says indie author in your name. What are your books about? Zach of Sad. You said, what are tips on lore and world building? Create them when you need them is honestly my favorite thing to do. It's too easy to get wrapped up in world building really early on and just go too deep. And distract, you slow yourself down. I think create your lore and your world building when they are necessary for the story, and then create a little bit extra if you want, but don't get wrapped up in them too long. Oh, it is your first released audiobook project, Rich. Hey! Congrats, man. Rock on, dude. I'm super pumped for you. I want to hear it. I want to hear you narrate it. Michelle, the Dragon book, I think is Dragon Watch, a Fablehaven Adventure 1. I believe that's it. I don't think I had another dragon title. Nah, I don't have another dragon title in here, so that must be it. Hello, Clorox Chewables. Still love that name. What's up? Raffi, you're requesting Year Zero. All right, we can get that one. Captured by Lauren Biel, says Mama Bear. Lauren Biel. Rock on, rock on. Okay. And Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, says KG Onyor on YouTube. Not sure how to read that one, but please let me know so I can say it correct for you. Oh, is my address visible somewhere? Whoops. We'll go ahead and sign out of Amazon. Good catch. Appreciate that. I don't want to sign in. Alright, hold on 1 second. We'll fix that. Has it really been showing my address the whole time and I didn't realize it? Whoops. I guess y'all know where I live now. Please don't come to my house. Oh, it's just showing zip code. I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about zip code. Alright, so what did I miss here? We got the opening lines there. Fahrenheit 451, another request. Alright, let's do the ones that we have on the list now, and then we will take some more suggestions. Alright, there's Fahrenheit. James, in answer to my question earlier, you said you write supernatural thrillers, mostly with romance elements. Rock on. Okay. Hey, that's a good genre to be in, man. Seasons of the Moon. Okay. Alright, last one I'm going to take for a moment, and then we're going to read the list. Raffi, you said you're rereading Ozzy's biography. Yeah, how appropriate, man. Brutal yesterday. The arcade I was at last night was playing all Ozzy soundtracks all night long. Nothing but Ozzy. It felt very appropriate. Rest in peace to the Prince of Darkness, man. Heck of a way to go out with $190 million raised at a charity concert, right? Prince of Darkness, Heart of Gold. Mike, what's up? Good morning. Trenchcoat Gaming, you said, hey man, just dropping by to show you some love and remind you that you're an amazing human. Well, thank you, Trenchcoat. I appreciate the good vibes, my dude. Back at ya. Back at ya. Yeah, Jackann, not happy Aussie news. Broke yesterday. Pretty rough. Pretty rough. Rich, you got a dip for work. Hey, no worries, man. Have a good day today. King of Darkness now, says Harpy. Spot on. Spot on. All right, y'all, let's dive right into it. Blaze Gaming, hello. Good morning to you, buddy. Good to see ya. Hope you're enjoying the new book. Y'all, first book right off the bat, we have Dragon Watch by Brandon Mole. There's our cover. Let's read it. Only one left in stock on this edition, so if you want to go ahead and sell them out. Mike, you said, how would I or could I get my Nova book signed? If you want, I can send you a signed book plate for them. Otherwise, I'm happy to sign them if we link up at a convention or something. But if you want signed book plates, shoot me a DM and we can sort that out. Otherwise, I don't really sell them signed anywhere yet. Be a nice thing to have. All right, let's read. And thank you for grabbing those, Mike. I appreciate you, buddy. I hope you enjoyed them. That's cool. I like that. The font's fun, and then the little drawing of the castle. That's sick. Yeah, it's a really cool font. All right, y'all. First book of the day. Let's kick it off. Oh, there's a drawing at the beginning of each chapter. I love that. I love that so much. I'm getting total classic fantasy vibes from this. It's very fun looking. Eavesdropping. Start again. Eavesdropping. Chapter 1. Kendra Sorensen jogged through the warm mist, damp gravel crunching underfoot, wondering if the moisture in the air was falling enough to be called rain. Sprinkles, maybe. She glanced up at the gray blur of the sky beyond the treetops, and over at a trio of fairies, each surrounded by a hazy halo of light. Nothing pattered against the hood of her windbreaker, but it was wet, as were the leafy branches on either side of the long driveway. All right, so it's a classic description opening, giving us some setting, some scene setting. I expected this to be full fantasy, like full classic historical fantasy. But the reference of windbreaker is making me think, is this like a modern day? It's kind of like isekai or something like that. So yeah, I think it could be more impactful personally, but it's a nice scene. I like the thought of, is the warm mist thick enough to be called rain? Mayor Bear, as a person who's had many arguments of rain versus drizzle versus sprinkle, I like this. Yeah, I can feel, look, a definitive answer, huh? Or not a definitive answer. They're joining you in uncertainty. So we got a bit of a normal opening. It's kind of painting the scene, and then just pulling in a cool little trio of fairies off to the side. Let's do one more paragraph here. This was the murkiest morning of the summer, at least since Kendra had started jogging. The 15-year-old typically got up just before sunrise and ran around the perimeter of the big yard 3 times. Each lap included running up the driveway to the gate and back. Any larger route would either take her beyond the boundaries of Fablehaven, exposing her to threats from the outside the preserve, or else make her vulnerable to some of the dangers held back by the magic protecting the yard. Roaming the woods of the sanctuary was not a safe proposition. Okay, so that really put in the explanation right there. Yes, Blaze, I got your title down. Mike, I'll throw yours on as well. But then, guys, we're gonna hold off on new titles for a minute because we are just catching up on last stream's titles we didn't get to. Yeah, so not my favorite opening. I think it's a little too exposition heavy, and opening with setting, while cool, is not necessarily the best way to hook people in my experience. But you can't judge a book by its cover or by its opening lines, perhaps, huh? I'd have to read more to really give you an evaluation of it. Plus, it's got 4,460 reviews, so people like it, I imagine. All right, let's hop to the next one here. This is an interesting one. And Moran Gaming, you said, have you read The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss? I have, both in my personal life and on stream for this format. It's a heck of an opening. Takes its time, but it's a powerful one, huh? All right, so the next one we have is 3. Um, Harpy, you said we need the opposite of this. You want bad openings and good books. Interesting. Interesting. That'd be a fun format. But I couldn't call. I can't objectively say. Art is bad. It's art. It's subjective. This is an ominous title cover, y'all. 3 by Ted Dekker. I'm not aware of this movie or book, but this was recommended last stream. So let's hop right into this, and now a major motion picture book. It's dating itself a little bit because it's got the from the producer of X-Men, but there's been so many X-Men movies at this point. It's like, well, which one? All right, Chapter 1, Friday, noon. The office had no windows, only electric lanterns to light the hundreds of spines standing in their cherry wood bookcases. A single lawyer's lamp spread its yellow hue over the leather-topped desk. The room smelled of linseed oil and musty pages, but to Dr. John Francis it was the scent of knowledge. Evil is beyond the reach of no man. But can man remove himself beyond the reach of evil? Kevin asked. The Dean of Academic Affairs, Dr. John Francis, gazed over bifocals at the man who sat opposite him and allowed a small smile to nudge his lips. Those blue eyes hid a deep mystery, one that had eluded him since their first meeting 3 months earlier, when Kevin Parson approached him after a philosophy lecture. They struck up a unique friendship that included numerous discussions, such as this one. Okay, so this is doing the same thing as the last one we just read, opening with scene setting, description of the office, no windows, only electric lanterns to light the hundreds of spines standing in their cherry wood bookcases. I do like that it gave scent. It gave us some smell in there. With the, where was it? The room smelled of linseed oil and musty pages. It's a nice smell. I dig it. And then just right into a discussion between characters. Giving me like a philosophical vibe. Could be because of the characters themselves and their setting. It seems like a college of some sort. Especially having a Dean of Academic Affairs there. Sorry, just muting a comment on YouTube. Not cool, my friend. Yeah, so a bit of a slower opening for my taste, but I guess if you like philosophical discussion, well, it jumps right into it, huh? What is this book? I'm unaware of it. Okay. So it's like a thriller. Based on this description, imagine answering your cell phone to a mysterious voice that gives you 3 minutes to confess your sin, or you die. You have one huge problem. You don't have a clue what that sin is. This feels. This is indicative of when was this first published? Because this is indicative of like an older type of storytelling. Yeah, 2012. This was like a popular thing back then to have book descriptions that are just like, imagine this happened to you. And it's dated. It's fine. It worked then, but it feels dated now. Kat Dolly, you said, are you pulling up chapters on your PC? I didn't know you could do that. Yeah, if you go to Amazon and then go to read sample, you can grab what I don't know what percentage it is, but some amount of the beginning of the book. It's typically like chapter 1, maybe a bit extra. Nice little way to. I like to use it to test the reading itself before we jump into it too far. If I'm going to buy a book, I like to test out how much am I digging it. All right. Next one is one that I'm fond of, and I was very happy that someone recommended this. I'm in the process of reading this now. The Devils by Joe Abercrombie. It's darker fantasy, little bit darker fantasy with a grin. If you don't know Joe Abercrombie and you like dark fantasy, you should read him. He's incredible. He's very funny. I don't know how. Yeah, like Sleepy said, shout out to my man Joe. I don't know how Joe can make simultaneously the worst characters that you also kind of root for, while they're just absolute, like, just terrible people. Flesh over Chrome, good morning, my friend. Welcome in. How you doing today? You and Sleepy getting the dark avatar, or the dark profile picture lineup going there in chat. Alright. Yo, I love this art. It's so cool. Like the skull with the candles, but they look like horns, and then the bottom jaw is a crown. Oh, it's so clever. Like, the first time I saw that, I was just like, yeah, it's just like a devil skull. And then the more I looked, like, holy cow, there's details all over it. Flesh, absolutely, man. I'll do viewers opening chapter. Please throw it in there. We'll take titles here in a minute. I'm just catching up on the backlog from last stream, and then we'll take some new ones. Who is that? Cat, you love the mug? Yeah, I gotta get the Totoro mug. Our cat bust as well. It's actually my wife's mug, but she doesn't drink coffee, so I've commandeered it so we can show it off on stream and get some good vibes going. Well, speaking of good vibes, let's do the opposite of that and read Joe Abercrombie's The Devils. Part 1. Worst princess ever. More awesome art. It's got this art throughout of, like, the main characters drawn in, like, you know, Catholic or, like, Greek Orthodox, Eastern Orthodox style, like they're saints. It's very fun to me. Oh god, it's a small font one, y'all. Alright, don't mind the leaning and the squinting. It's hard when they're like this. And zooming just throws the whole window out of proportion. It gets all weird, so no zoom. Alright. It was the 15th of loyalty, and Brother Diaz was late for his audience with Her Holiness the Pope. Oh, come on, Joe. You're gonna make me swear on stream. God bless it. He fretted as God bless it, he fretted, as his scarcely moving carriage was buffeted by a procession of wailing flagellants, their backs streaked with blood and their faces with tears of rapture, whipping themselves along behind a banner that read simply, "Repent." What one was called upon to repent of wasn't specified. Everyone's got something, don't they? God bless it. It might not have been numbered among the 12 virtues, but Brother Diaz had always prided himself on his punctuality. He'd allowed a full 5 hours to get from his hostelry to his interview. Sure, that would leave him with at least 2 to piously admire the statues of the senior saints before the celestial palace. It was said all roads in the holy city led there, after all. Only now it seemed all roads in the holy city led around and around in chilly circles crawling with an unimaginable density of pilgrims, prostitutes, dreamers, schemers, relic buyers, indulgence dealers, miracle seekers, preachers and fanatics, tricksters and swindlers, prostitutes, thieves, merchants and moneylenders, soldiers and thugs, an astonishing quantity of livestock on the hoof, crippled prostitutes. Had he mentioned the prostitutes? They outnumbered the priests some 20 to 1, their glaring presence at the blessed heart of the church, screeching, smoking come-ons and displaying goose-fleshed extremities to the uncaring cold, was shocking, of course, disgraceful, undoubtedly, but also stirred desires Brother Diaz had hoped long buried. He was obliged to adjust his habit and turn his eyes heavenwards, or at any rate, towards the jolting ceiling of his carriage. Okay, that was a lot, y'all, but there was a big paragraph in there that I love. I remember reading that, and Joe just nails it with, like, yeah, what an opening, right? I mean, I can't put my fingers on it, but, like, I guess we can do it like this. The opening is like, I can't really do it well. That paragraph is massive, y'all. It's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 lines of text. And yet it works. And it's just a list. The whole thing's a list, but it totally works. And yes, I do love that usage of goose-fleshed. This is a classic opening that just pulls you right into it, right? Like, I remember the first time, maybe even to a fault, I remember when I first read this, I got caught up on the line, it was the 15th of loyalty. I didn't know what that meant, but I guess what he's doing is, loyalty is a month in this world, and he's just not explaining it, which, personally, I am a fan of. I'm a fan of picking up the way the world works through the prose, not through exposition. It's great though. Wonderful book. I'm halfway through it. I'm absolutely loving it. If you would like to read some dark fantasy with a satirical take and a little bit of a smirk, I highly recommend The Devils by Joe Abercrombie. All right, getting through this backlog, y'all. Sleepy says you don't need to hold my hand. I can use the mighty power of context clues. All right. The Bee Sting by Paul Murray, just rolling right into the next one. I'm not familiar with this one, but I'm getting like Scholastic Book Fair vibes almost. Let's see. Well, I guess we'll just read on, huh? Not spoil anything. Pick it up as we go. Let's get that first opening line here. I do like how the bee has like written a novel here as it flew by. This looks like a classic. I feel like I've missed some classic story by not knowing about this. There we go. Oh, it's another, man, it's just a day of small text. Y'all gonna ruin my eyesight with these. That's alright. The things I do for my audience. The Bee Sting, a novel. Chapter 1. In the next town over, a small man had killed his No, sorry. I don't know why I threw small in there. In the next town over, a man had killed his family. How's that for a first sentence? Ouch. In the next town over, a man had killed his family. He'd nailed the doors shut so they couldn't get out. The neighbors heard them running through the room, screaming for mercy. When he had finished, he turned the gun on himself. Boy, that's a happy opening coming from Abercrombie's dark fiction to this. This one's a lot darker right off the bat. Everyone was talking about it, about what kind of man could do such a thing, about the secrets he must have had. Rumors swirled about affairs, addiction, hidden files on his computer. Elaine just said that she was surprised it didn't happen more often. She thrust her thumbs through the belt loops of her jeans and looked down the dreary main street of their town. I mean, she said, it's something to do. Cass and Elaine first met in chemistry class when Elaine poured iodine in Cass's eczema during an experiment. It was an accident. She'd cried more than Cass did, and insisted on going with her to the nurse. They'd been friends ever since. Okay, there's a lot going on here with this opening. A total whirlwind, y'all. I feel like Bee Sting has bee stung me with how this began. I mean, look, it immediately gets your attention with the opening line. In the next town over, a man had killed his family. And then to go on and include gruesome details, what is this genre? I have no idea what the description on the back. The Barnes family is in trouble. Dickie's once lucrative car business is going under, but Dickie is spending his days in the woods building an apocalypse-proof bunker with a renegade handyman. So it's like time travel? Interesting. A portrait of post-crash Ireland, a tragicomic family saga, and a dazzling story about the struggle to be good at the end of the world. Wow. I did not expect any of that from the cover, man. It looks like a Scholastic Book Fair read, but this is going a lot darker than I expected. I guess we're following a trend. Well, I mean, hey, it catches your attention right off the bat, right? I would definitely be encouraged to read more. It sounds a bit dark for my taste, but it's functionally a really good opening. Like, they've done a good job with it. It gets your attention. Kat, you said Scythe by Neil Schusterman. Alright, we'll throw that on there. Thanatos, good morning, my friend. You said you can't stay long, but I hope you hope my appendix is alright. Yeah, we don't know, man. All the tests we ran said it's fine, but I still have some of the symptoms, but at this point we don't know what else we can do. So I played 2 hockey games on Sunday. I've worked out several times this week, and it hasn't burst yet, so I guess we're okay. Raffi, I appreciate you giving me the comedy book recommendation here. To lighten up the mood after those 2 reads, man. The House on Needless Street, Melissa. I got that one for you. All right, 2 more in the backlog, and then we'll feel fresh. We'll have the baggage of last stream done, and we'll be able to go into the new titles. Appendicitis is no joke, says Mike. Yeah, man. I guess I don't have it, but I just have all the symptoms of it, but I guess it's fine, so. Misfit Mikey, just take it out. I mean, I kind of don't disagree. All right, here's The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I like the art. It's kind of cool. A crown and a beetle on a tree branch. Let's check it out. I don't know what this one is. Happy Ad Yay. You said what was that, Red Sister? I know I'm familiar with Red Sister's opening. I know that it's great, and we're gonna read it anyway. I put it on the list there. But right now, let's do Cruel Prince. I'm trying to say Cool Prince. Maybe he's cool and cruel. We'll find out. I like the map. The art style on the map's pretty cool, y'all. It's kind of cutesy. Doesn't seem to quite fit with the title and the vibe, but I like it. It's giving me like Scottish Highlands vibes, like locks. Oh, look at the chapter art too. All right, so when we have a prologue, I say we read the prologue because the concept is we read the opening lines of the book. If the author decided the prologue's what came first, then so be it. Lever, have I ever read Sword and Claw by Gene Wolfe? I have not. I have not read that. Welcome in, Lever. Glad to have you. All right, prologue of Cruel Prince. On a drowsy Sunday afternoon, a man in a long, dark coat hesitated in front of a house on a tree-lined street. He hadn't parked a car, nor had he come by taxi. No neighbor had seen him strolling along the sidewalk. He simply appeared, as if stepping between one shadow and the next. All right, so right off the bat, y'all, I love that first paragraph. That's perfectly sets the scene. I think it's really fun. Yeah, I really like that. Just the guy's hesitating, but no one really saw him arrive. He just, like, appeared there. I dig it. I dig it. The man walked to the door and lifted his fist to knock. Inside the house, Jude sat on the living room rug and ate fish sticks, soggy from the microwave and dragged through a sludge of ketchup. Her twin sister, Taryn, napped on the couch, curled around a blanket, thumb in her fruit punch-stained mouth. And on the other end of the sofa, their older sister, Vivienne, stared at the television screen, her eerie, split-pupil gaze fixed on the cartoon mouse as it ran from the cartoon cat. She laughed when it seemed as if the mouse was about to get eaten. Well, I think we all know what cartoon they're watching, huh? Okay, so interesting. I liked the first paragraph a lot. It was mysterious. It was intriguing. And then it gets really mundane in the second paragraph. Not in a bad way. I'm not criticizing. More of it's telling us what to expect here, which I think is interesting. It gives us fantasy, modern day fantasy in the opening paragraph, and then mundane in the second paragraph, which makes me think the story is going to merge those two, which is not what I expected looking at the title. I expected it to be like, full fantasy in a historic setting, medieval fantasy-esque, that general time period. But that's an important thing for a book to do in the opening lines, is to tell you what to expect. Preferably quietly. You don't want to fully just tell people up front, but you want to suggest, So interesting. I like that first paragraph a lot for The Cruel Prince. What was that? Josiah said, "Can you do The Knife of Never Letting Go" by Patrick Rothfuss? I'm not familiar with that one. We'll put it on there. Letting Go. Shadow and Claw by Gene Wolfe. Elbow, we did Dungeon Crawler Carl last stream. Always a fun opening, though. Personally, I feel Dungeon Crawler Carl gets like better a little bit later on. I think its opening lines, they're pretty good, but it really sings like in the back half of its first chapter and the start of the second one, in my opinion. Kat, that made you want to read Cruel Prince? Rock on. That's what it should do. It's what the opening lines should do. If you pick the book up from a bookshelf in a bookstore, wow, there's a lot of word echo on book in that sentence. If you pick that book up and crack it open, the opening lines got to do the heavy lifting. They got to hook you, keep you in the story. Banana Bunny. I think I have Seasons of the Moon on here. Did I not add it? I did not. Okay, we'll put it on. Y'all, we're getting so many suggestions for titles. I'm gonna need to start finding a way to sort them all because and choose like roll form or something because there's just too many titles to go through. So I'm gonna cap it here because we've already done 6 I think today, and I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 more. So, oh boy, but I appreciate the enthusiasm, guys. Chump Rayo. I'm not just calling him a chump. Dungeon Crawler Carl audiobook is incredible. Yeah, it is. That's the way to do it. They gotta do the audiobook experience for it. Titan Terror, by the way, good morning. Good to see you. Thank you for the heart me and welcome in. Pleasure to have you. Cat Dolly, thank you for the gifts, by the way. I missed those earlier. But, we have a rule around here. You give a gift, you get a gift. And with that number of gifts, I think you've earned not 1, but 2 and 3 goblins. So here's my gift back to you. Thank you very much, Cat. Don't feed them after midnight. Your house will never be clean again. And please, please, please hide your matches. They are little arsonists. They're lovely to have around, but there's some stipulations. Sleepy, you said he who fights with monsters and Dungeon Crawler Carl on my immersion into Lit RPG. It's a strong start, dude. You start with that, you're gonna get hooked on hooked on Lit RPG pretty hard. All right, someone said earlier, I didn't get to respond to it in time, that this book takes place over 40 years. That's insane, dude. I don't know what to expect looking at the cover. This is gonna be rude of me. The cover looks like a Ron John ad. Something about the pairing of the wave and the color of the text. But I'm very interested. I know nothing about this. Let's get into it. Scroll through the front matter and it's a y'all. Every book today has had this little itty bitty teeny tiny text. Being mean to my poor eyes today. All right. Chapter 1 of Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. Before Mazer invented himself as Mazer, he was Samson Mazer, and before he was Samson Mazer, he was Samson Masser, a change of 2 letters that transformed him from a nice, ostensibly Jewish boy to a professional builder of worlds. And for most of his youth, he was Sam, S-A-M, on the Hall of Fame of his grandfather's Donkey Kong machine. But mainly, Sam. Well, that's an opening paragraph, huh? I like that a lot. That was all one sentence, wasn't it? Wow, that's a long sentence. Bold start, but it catches your attention, right? So remember I said earlier, Sleepy, if that changes text size, oh my goodness. Thank you, Sleepy. The things I don't see sometimes. There's literally a font size button here. Oh, it's not working though. Yeah, I had tried that earlier. If you notice, it doesn't change it. It just, I don't know what it does, but it in this preview mode that I have pulled up, it messes it up. Anyway. Yeah, it doesn't change it at all. It just does some weird zoom. Maybe it is changing. I don't know. No, but this first paragraph, that was really good. Remember I said earlier that books need to suggest to you what they're going to be about early on. They kind of need to quietly suggest what to expect. That's exactly what this did. It gives you an interesting character named Mazer, but then brings in the concept of how he had changed his name to sound ostensibly like a Jewish boy, or a professional builder of worlds. It's like, hold on, what? We're getting sci-fi vibes. But then pulls it back to but also it was SAM, initials on his grandfather's Donkey Kong machine. That tells you so much about what to expect in the story, the voice of it, etc., etc. Killer opening paragraph. I want to read the second one. On a late December afternoon in the waning 20th century, okay, so definitely sci-fi, Sam exited a subway car and found the artery to the escalator clogged by an inert mass of people who were gaping at a station advertisement. Sam was late. He had a meeting with his academic advisor that he had been postponing for over a month, but that everyone agreed absolutely needed to happen before winter break. Sam didn't care for crowds, being in them, or whatever foolishness they tended to enjoy en masse, but this crowd would not be avoided. He would have to force his way through if he were to be delivered to the above-ground world. Okay, I love this. This prose is really pulling me in. There's a confidence to this prose, y'all. You gotta have some confidence to lead with. Sam exited a subway car and found the artery to the escalator clogged by an inert mass of people. That's just like, to word it like that. That's pretty confident. I like it. Also, this paragraph elaborates a lot on the personality of the character without just explaining it. The way it says, like, he had a meeting with his academic advisor that he had been postponing for over a month, but that everyone had agreed absolutely needed to happen before winter break. Sam didn't care for crowds, being in them, or whatever foolishness they tended to enjoy en masse. It's just a good way to, like, introduce the character, demonstrate voice, but not be exposition heavy. Very good, very technical opening, very intriguing. I can see why it's a New York Times bestseller. Llewellyn, let me know if I'm saying that right, but welcome back in. Good to see you. Thanks for returning. The fifth says Dungeon Crawler Carl by Matt Dinneman. Yes, we did that last stream, and we are big DCC fans here for sure. And in fact, if you enjoyed Dungeon Crawler Carl, especially the audiobook, y'all, my most recent book, Wriggly Little Hands, the audiobook was produced by the same folks, the wonderful people at Sound Booth Theater, and Jeff Hayes, narrator of Dungeon Crawler Carl, features on my audiobook as well. So if you like the DCC vibes, check out mine. It's on Amazon, links in my bio. I'd appreciate it. But we're not here for my books today, y'all. We're here for your favorite books, your favorite opening lines. So let's grab one off the list. We got a big list here today. So here's what I'm going to do, guys. Since there's so many, I'm going to start rolling for them. We cool with that? If I roll a die and go through them? Just pick it randomly, make it fair. Let the dice gods decide. Oh, Rob Reed's the guy that writes like Douglas Adams. Yeah, you mentioned that one. I'm excited for that. I hope we get it now. I was just thinking that, Raffy. If we do roll dice for it, yours will never be chosen. I'm so sorry. What an ominous skin we had on our dice from the last time we were, or die from the last time we were rolling them. Hold on, we gotta fix that, y'all. We need something bright and colorful here. Ooh, what are we picking? This purple's nice. You like that? Yeah, we'll rock with that. Belle Asphodel, which, by the way, what a name. Holy cow, that is so cool. Belle Asphodel. Wow. I'm just completely sidetracked by how cool that name is. You said dice are how I pick what to read next on your to-be-read pile. Yeah, that's a fun way to do it. I like it. All right, how many do we have on the list here? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know what? I should actually just go ahead and number them. So when we roll, we know what we're going to get. I don't have to sit here and count it every time. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right, we got 12 titles currently. Perfect. So we'll just put up a D12. Oh, didn't mean to roll. Here we go. D12. All right, folks, we're going to roll to see what we get next. Here we go. Take your guesses. What's it going to be? Predictions in chat. Tyler says 7. Jaden says 7. All right, the double 7s. 8 for Melissa, 6 for Jack Ann, 7 for Llewellyn. Raffy's not giving his number because he doesn't want it to not get picked. 3, 5. All right, let's see, y'all. Away we go. 6. Oh, 9. 9 is Year Zero. All right. Year Zero. I didn't record the author, but I think with a name like that, it's going to come up. Yeah. Oh, Robbery. Raffy, it's yours. Raffy, see, that's why you don't, you specifically, Raffy, are not allowed to make predictions because then you'll win. Y'all, if you're not familiar with the lore, we have a format where we roll dice, and Raffy wanted a 6, and it was like 4 weeks before we rolled a 6 for Raffy. Hey, congrats, Rafi. I'm happy for you. I'm intrigued by this cover too, especially because I've been spoiled a little bit that this is supposed to read like Douglas Adams. So let's give it a look here. Kind of getting Napster vibes from the logo, huh? Am I misremembering the Napster logo? No, not in the slightest. Big time Napster vibes. That's really funny. I mean, is it like intentionally supposed to look like that? Oh, it is a Napster joke. Okay. Okay, that makes sense. Because that's like exact. Alright, I'm excited for this one, man. Let's give it a read. Year Zero by Rob Reed. I've been told that this one is like Douglas Adams' writing, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So if that's the case, there's a big chance that I actually pick this one up. I don't have a lot of reading time these days, but it might need to be spent on this. I already read the first line. It's incredible. All right, Chapter 1 of Year Zero by Rob Reed. Aliens suck at music, and it's not for a lack of trying. They've been at it for eons, but have yet to produce even a faintly decent tune. If they had, we'd have detected them ages ago. We've been scanning the skies for signs of intelligent life for generations, after all, and we've actually picked up thousands of alien anthems, slow dances, and ballads, but the music is so awful that it's always mistaken for the death rattle of a distant star. It's seriously that bad. Ouch. Titan Terror, this is giving me vibes. I'm flattered. This has got 1.7 thousand reviews on it, so I'll take that. I'd love to have 1.7k thousand reviews. Rob, tell me your secret. It's seriously that bad. Or more accurately, we're that good. In fact, humanity creates the universe's best music by far. We owe this to a freakish set of lucky breaks. For instance, the combined gravitational pulls of the various bodies in our solar system tug the fluids of our inner ears in just the right way to give us an exquisite sense of rhythm. Certainly, bewitching tonal patterns are meanwhile wired right into our brainstems because they map to the sounds that our distant ancestors' ancient prey once made. These two, and several other long-shot rarities, combine to give us magical superpowers that no other civilization can match. The irony is that, in every other artistic form that matters to the rest of the cosmos, we're the dullards. Love it. That's a killer opening. Rafi, this does feel like it was custom written for you. Funny sci-fi with about music. I mean, that's so spot on. Okay, so breaking this down, y'all. First of all, I didn't notice this earlier. Kind of funny, the book is called Year Zero, and the first chapter is called Zero. Maybe it's a prologue, but clever. And then, I mean, look, get your attention with the opening line, aliens suck at music, right? And it's not for lack of trying. They've been at it for eons, but have yet to produce even a faintly decent tune. I love how casual this sounds. This sounds really fun. Got me to laugh early on. It is very Douglas Adams. It's very Douglas Adams right off the bat. Look, it is hard to write a good opening, but the formula is simple. The execution is difficult. But if you're gonna hit me with a short, punchy, funny opening sentence, and then make me ask a question to myself, in this case, the question is, why do we care that aliens are bad at music? You're gonna keep me reading. So yeah, great opening. I love it. I'm very interested. Bell Asphodel, you say, do you do only sci-fi / fantasy, or can we suggest anything? No, you can suggest any, your favorite books, Bell. So you let me know. Rafi, thank you for Year Zero, my friend. Great book. I'm glad we got it in one, man. We'll call that a nat 20 if we're rolling yours right off the bat. Absolutely excellent. Belgian Boy, I apologize. I'm going to veto Red Rising this time, only because we've done it on the last 3 or 4 streams, because it's that popular. But it is a very good book. I like to let it cool off for a stream or two before we do it again. Otherwise, I'd just be reading the same massively popular titles every stream. Belle, you said One Last Rainy Day by Kate Stewart. All right, added to the list. All right, so here's how I'll do it then from now on, y'all. I'm going to fill the list up when we do this stream, and then we'll just roll a die and pull things off them. So we just got number 9, which was Rafi's. So I've replaced it now with Belle's newest, most recent suggestion, One Last Rainy Day by Kate Stewart. And now we're going to roll again. We got 1 through 12 on the list. Let's see what it is. Any guesses? Any guesses what number is going to come up here? Let me know. Tyler says 4. Other name wasn't available. Says 5. 3 from Kat Dolly. 11 from Llewellyn. 4 from Tide and Tara. 2 from Belle Asphodel. Melissa says 4. Josiah says 5. Jack Ann says 2. Let's see. And away we go. 2. Belle. Jack Ann, you guys called it. Rock on. Those are the ones. Good job, guys. 2 is The Knife of Never Letting Go by Patrick Rothfuss. I'm not familiar with this one. I know the author, obviously. Oh, Patrick Ness? I thought it was presented as Patrick Rothfuss. Maybe I just misread it. All right, well, Patrick Ness. I was going to say, I thought I knew everything Patrick Rothfuss had written, and this didn't sound familiar. Can we at futuristic violence and fancy hats? Oh, add. Yeah, futuristic violence. That's a heck of a title. Futuristic violence and fancy hats. All right, throw that one into the spot that just was vacated. All right, so now we're on The Knife of Never Letting Go. What an ominous looking cover. Bright colors and yet ominous. Let's look into it, y'all. I know nothing about what's coming except that it's got 6,000 reviews, so that's pretty good. All right, where's our chapter 1 at? Ooh, disconcerting font there. Yeah, Raffi. Totally, dude. I agree with that. Which, hey, we'll give a shout out real quick. Raffi says we should make an opening lines thread in Discord so people can share their opening lines. I agree with that. So here is our Discord link. Dropping it in chat. If you want to join us there, we'd love to have you. We just hit over 200 members. Please join in, and if you want to share opening lines, go for it. Love to have you. Thank you for the follow there. I appreciate y'all. And welcome in. Happy Wednesday to you. We are on Chapter 1 of The Hole in the Noise. The Knife of Never Letting Go. Chapter 1 is called The Hole in the Noise. The first thing you find out when your dog learns to talk is that dogs don't got nothing much to say about anything. Need a poo, Todd. Shut up, Manchi. Poo, Todd. I said shut it. We're walking across the wild fields southeast of town, those ones that slope down to the river and head on toward the swamp. Ben sent me to pick him some swamp apples, and he's made me take Manchi with me, even though we all know Cillian only bought him to stay on Mayor Prentice's good side. And so suddenly, here's this brand new dog as a present for my birthday last year, when I never said I wanted any dog, that what I said I wanted was for Cillian to finally fix the fission bike so I wouldn't have to walk every forsaken place in this stupid town. But oh no, happy birthday, Todd. Here's a brand new puppy, Todd. And even though you don't want him, even though you never asked for him, guess who has to feed him and train him and wash him and take him for walks and listen to him jabber? Now he's got old enough for the talking germ to set his mouth moving. Guess who? Wow, another massive paragraph, but I love the character voice in there. That's a fun approach, y'all. I'm a big fan. Yeah, like you said, Jack Ann, a stream of consciousness approach. I'm a big fan of that. People are familiar with this book. Rock on. I expected a thriller from this. From the cover, I was getting thriller vibes. Thank you for the follows, guys. Seriously, I appreciate you. That's a follow train coming in. Fine line. You said the whole book stream of consciousness. Well, if it's stream of consciousness like this, I'm not gonna be mad about it, man. That's pretty fun. I'm gonna read that one more time because that was a really fun paragraph, and then we're gonna talk about why it works briefly. We're walking across the wild fields southeast of town, those ones that slope down to the river and head on toward the swamp. Ben sent me to pick him some swamp apples, and he's made me take Manchi with me, even though we all know Cillian only bought him to stay on Mayor Prentice's good side, and so suddenly here's this brand new dog as a present for my birthday. last year when I never said I wanted any dog, that what I said I wanted was for Cillian to finally fix the fishing bike so I wouldn't have to walk every forsaken place in this stupid town. But oh no, happy birthday, Todd. Here's a brand new puppy, Todd. And even though you don't want him, even though you never asked for him, guess who has to feed him and train him and wash him and take him for walks and listen to him jabber now he's got old enough for the talking germ to set his mouth moving? Guess who? Oh boy. You gotta strategically plan your inhales reading that. No, this is a great start. I really expected this to be a thriller, but it's given comedy, sci-fi kind of comedy. I'm not entirely sure what to make of it, but look, the voice is there. So we've talked about there's different ways to do openings. You need the readers to ask themselves a question. You can tell that I have a bias against scene descriptive openings. That's just personal. They could work for you. This one is perfect. This introduces characters, it's entertaining, and it gives you a sense of what to expect for the rest of the book and what to expect from the main character. No notes. Perfect start. I love it. Fine line. Were you here earlier? We just did tomorrow, and tomorrow, like 10 minutes ago. It was good. It was very good. All right. Well, that was The Knife of Never Letting Go. So thank you, whoever suggested that. That was a good one. It's a great example. All right, y'all, let's see the list. For reference, our list at the moment is Seasons of the Moon, Futuristic Violence and Fancy Hats, Shadow and Claw, Red Sister, Scythe, The House on Needless Street, Chronicles of Elysium, Lethal Game, Last Rainy Day, Captured, Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, and Fahrenheit 451. Those are our 12. I'm going to roll a d12 here. We're going to see which one we get. And then once there is an open spot, I'll take a suggestion to fill it. And we'll just keep the list going. So y'all, what number are we rolling? What do we think? 8. 8 says Phoenix. 7 says Mike. Rafi says, please not Fahrenheit. That book haunts me. Well, we'll see. All right, 6, 7, 12, 6, 8. Let's find out. Shake it up good and roll it out. 3. Wow. Shadow and Claw by Gene Wolfe. Y'all, let's give it a look-see. The Book of the New Sun. Is this okay? Interesting. That's a really interesting cover. When I first saw this cover, I thought it was gonna be nonfiction. It looked like I didn't notice the fantasy elements. It's just more so the way this is like lined up makes it look like it's gonna be like it gave me like The Things They Carried vibes. Okay, this now that I look closer, I'm getting like epic fantasy, kind of some classic fantasy here. Let's see what we got. All right. We had more suggestions. Jack Ann, you went with A Song of Ice and Fire. And Fire. Michael B. Bucky. The only reason I'm not taking Hitchhikers is because we did it last stream, and I like to let them cool off at least one stream. And Hitchhiker's Guide, though, is a classic, and I love it, and it pains me, but I have to stick to my rule. But thank you. Oh, thank you for the gift. Who was that? Minister of Yeats. Very kind of you. Thank you. And look, we have a rule around here. If you give a gift, you get a gift. So this little guy's yours now. Congratulations. You've adopted a goblin. I was going to tell you the rules about him, but you'll figure it out. All right, let's get to Chapter 1 of Shadow and Claw by Gene Wolfe. Chapter 1, Resurrection and Death. Well, starting off heavy, huh? Another gift. Thank you, Melissa. I appreciate that. And Llewellyn for the heart me and the roses. Thank you, guys. Appreciate that. Gifts for gifts, everybody. So for both of y'all, there you go. All right, I'll give you one of the rules. Hide all the matches you own. There's rule 2 of owning a goblin. Or adopting a goblin. Cat Dolly, how do we know the health status of our goblin? It's dependent on the shade of green. The shade of green will keep you informed. All right, Chapter 1 of Shadow and Claw. It is possible I already have some presentiment of my future. The locked and rusted gate that stood before us, with wisps of river fog threading its spikes like the mountain paths, remains in my mind now as the symbol of my exile. Whew, what a heavy start. That's a heavy start. Minister, you've named him Sir Stuart. A very appropriate name. I like it. Y'all, this is a heavy start. Dramatic. I love that imagery. It is possible I already have some presentiment of my future. The locked and rusted gate that stood before us, with wisps of river fog threading its spikes like the mountain paths, remains in my mind now as the symbol of my exile. That is why I have begun this account of it with the aftermath of our swim, in which I, the torturer's apprentice Severian, had so nearly drowned. Strong opening. Sounds very classic fantasy, but I like kind of the vibe it's taken with like the language of, that is why I have begun this account of the aftermath of our swim, in which I, the torturer's apprentice Severian, had so nearly drowned. It's got an older kind of vibe to it with the language, but I like it. Let's do the next paragraph. The guard has gone. Thus my friend Rosh spoke to Drat, who had already seen it for himself. Doubtfully, the boy Ieta suggested that we go around. A lift of his thin, freckled arm indicated the thousands of paces of wall stretching across the slum and sweeping up the hill, until at last they met the high curtain wall of the citadel. It was a walk I would take much later. Okay, much stronger opening paragraph, I think, than second paragraph, but the opening one's the most important. A lot of names introduced in that second one, but no, heavy opening. I am intrigued where it goes. I'm getting classic fantasy vibes off of it, and I liked the internal monologue, the way the character was speaking to themselves. I thought that was fun, interesting. So, what is this classic fantasy? Is that correct? Hailed as a masterpiece of science fantasy, comparable in importance to the major works of Tolkien list. Well, that is a statement. That is a statement. Interesting though. So science fantasy. Well, I don't know what to expect from this, but it says Tor Essentials right there at the top, so it must be good. All right, guys, that was Shadow and Claw. Very interesting. You know what that means, though? It is time to roll the dice yet again and see what we get. Murdoch, have I read The Gunslinger? I have, and I would put it on the list, but I have a rule. If I read it last stream, I got to let it cool off for a stream, because I was reading the same really popular titles basically every stream, and we did Gunslinger last time. Thank you for the follows, everybody. I appreciate you. Hey, guys, welcome in. If you don't know me, I am author Alex Knight. I've been writing full-time since 2018. I should probably deliver that as my credentials, shall we say, for judging opening lines. I'm not going to be too critical. It's more about just dissecting them and telling you why they work instead of just being like, oh, this is bad or this is good. Art's subjective. It's not bad or good. It's about how you feel about it. I just want to give you some insight into the opening lines. But anyway, that's who I am. I've been writing since 2018. These are my books. They're all on Amazon. This is the newest one, and please do pick it up if you want. It's a comedy fantasy about goblins on a road trip to save the Dark Lord. It's very goofy if you like Douglas Adams, Terry Pratchett, or wacky D&D sessions. It's very much like those. But today is not about my books. It is about the books you guys are suggesting. Murdoch, you said you wish you knew what I said about The Gunslinger. I said The Gunslinger, I'm going off the top of my head here, but I recall it's a very punchy opening that turned into some really interesting languages once you get into the description of the desert. But it's a quick, strong opening sentence that really gets your attention with, like, the man in black fled across the desert and and the something followed. I might have mixed up the descriptors there, but it's a powerful opening sentence, and then the descriptions of the desert are super cool. That's the most I can remember. By the way, thank you for the gifts, everybody. And Melissa, you send me a gift, but the gift is you just hit member level 18 on the stream team. Oh my goodness, Melissa. Thank you so much. You've been here so consistently. You're incredible. And for that, for member level 18, 3 goblins for you. Your army of goblins grows. And Lou Ellen, thank you for the gift as well. And Josiah for the heart me. Goblin for you each. I think you've unlocked enough goblins now. You can have rule number 3 of owning a goblin. Your house will never be clean again. It's more of a statement and a warning than a rule. Just how it goes. Yes, Jackann, good point. Thank you. Y'all, if you wanted to see a past stream or what I said about a past title, I do have all of these saved on YouTube. So if you go to the link tree in my bio, it can link you to my YouTube, and all my past streams are there. Then a nice little playlist. So if you wanted to see what I said about a book in the past, it's there for you. But for the moment, folks, thank you for the follows. Thank you for the titles. Let's pick another one. What number we think it's going to be. Put those predictions in chat, and we'll get a roll. Mike says 7 again, sticking with it. Zakari, do I have Lit RPG? I do. These down here are all Lit RPG. This one's a trilogy. This is a standalone. This is a 5-book series, 4 of which are already out. Mike, what was that in reply to? You said I wrote the book, but I didn't see what the first one was. Oh, Zakari, you said, do I like Lit RPG? I'm sorry, I misread that. Lou Ellen, didn't read Worm, but have you read Helldivers? No, I don't think I've read that one either. Yeah, I don't think so. You want a screenshot in the list of Lit RPG? All right, here you go. There you go. It's Warden, Nova Online, Rise to Glory, and Paragon are those. All right, you got the screenshot. Thank you very much for the interest. I appreciate you. Y'all, let's roll a die. See what we get. Gotcha, Mike. I get it now. You wrote the book that's number 7 on the list. Gotcha. 5, Scythe by Neal Shusterman. Or Shusterman? Probably Shusterman. Glad I had a title for that, an author name for that one. Arc of a Scythe is the series title. Oh, okay. I have seen this cover around. Phoenix, you like the dramatic dice roller? Yeah, shout out to mightydice.com. Wonderful app. All right, Scythe, y'all. This is sci-fi, I believe, right? I feel like I've seen this one before. Alex Land, we did Levin Thumps last time, so I'll veto that title on the list because I don't like to repeat back to back. But next stream, it'll be available again. But thank you for suggesting it. Please feel free to throw up another one. All right, let's do the opening lines of Scythe by Neal Shusterman. I hope I'm saying that right. Bold font. I like it. Very cool. Chapter 1, No Dimming of the Sun. Interesting. That makes you think, huh? I'm not entirely sure what to think of that title. Chapter title. Alright. The Scythe arrived late on a cold November afternoon. Citra was at the dining room table, slaving over a particularly difficult algebra problem, shuffling variables, unable to solve for x or y, when this new and far more pernicious variable entered her life's equation. Whew! That's some clever wordplay there, y'all. I really like that. That's really clever. A little bit cutesy, maybe, but I don't know. I thought it was cool. So, a good opening. Guests were frequent at the Terra Nova's apartment, so when the doorbell rang, there was no sense of foreboding, no dimming of the sun, no foreshadowing of the arrival of death at their door. Perhaps the universe should have deigned to provide such warnings, but scythes were no more supernatural than tax collectors in the grand scheme of things. They showed up, did their unpleasant business, and were gone. Okay, this is a very good opening, y'all. I really like both of these paragraphs. They're both strong. The wordplay on Citra was at the dining room table, slaving over a particularly difficult algebra problem, shuffling variables, unable to solve for x or y, when this new and far more pernicious variable entered her life's equation. That's clever. That's very clever. And then, though, the ominousness in the second paragraph about, like, this scythe, whatever it is, we don't know, we haven't been introduced to that concept yet, showing up. But they're not supernatural. They just show up, do their unpleasant business, and leave. Interesting. I always say openings need to make the reader ask a question. I am absolutely asking questions right now. That's a killer to opening paragraphs. Very nice. I love it. I definitely would want to read more. I've seen the cover. I've not read the series before, but rock on. I think that's a perfect opening, honestly. Nibble Nephim, you said please do Yellowface. I think we've done that one before, but we will add it to the list and see if we roll for it. I think it's been a couple streams since we've done it, so the cooldown has expired. We can do it again. So that was Scythe. It was good. It was good. Y'all, the list as it stands now. Seasons of the Moon, Futuristic Violence and Fancy Hats, A Song of Ice and Fire, Red Sister, Yellowface, The House on Needless Street, Chronicles of Elysium, Lethal Game, Last Rainy Day, Captured, Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, and Fahrenheit 451. There's our 12 titles. We're going to roll dice for it and see what we get here. Oh, you know what? Hold on. I'm going to be a little bit cheesy here, guys. I'm going to read my own opening line first, too. I got to do a little bit of promo, right, for my own stuff. Y'all, if you don't know, this is Wriggly Little Hands, my comedy fantasy about goblins on a road trip. There's the art bigger. And if you give me a moment, I'd like to read you my opening lines, and you can tell me all the ways that I messed it up. Alrighty. Chapter 1, A Wriggly Little Courier. Goblins look like if cats, hairless cats, had thumbs and learned to walk on two legs. But while cats are allowed to commit as many crimes as they want on account of being cute and small, the same hasn't been true of goblins ever since they discovered arson. Today, however, it wasn't goblins setting fire to everything. Ollie had been excited at first when so many new friends had shown up on the plains of abandoned hope and paralyzing fear. He'd been even more excited when he noticed all the fun siege engines and war mammoths they'd brought along. But then his new friends, the Bright Queen and her army of the just, had laid siege to his old friends, the Dark Lord and his legions of smoldering shadow. In Goblin society, it was polite to greet new neighbors with a nice newt cake, or a fresh pot of warmed mud. In human society, it seemed wanton slaughter was the go-to. That was how the Bright Queen had decided to introduce herself to the Dark Lord, at least, and who was Ollie to judge? Belle, you laughed at the arson line? Thank you. That is why one of the rules of the Goblin Gifts is to hide every match in your house, because these little guys they do love their arson. So yeah, I guess if we're dissecting these, we're dissecting the books we read. I'll give you some insight into why I did the opening lines that I did. And Jackann, yes, the whole book is omniscient. It pops around from head to head for the purpose of each scene. Thank you for the gift. Wow, a lot of people actually. But Minister of Yeats, thank you for the most recent one. Oklahoma City Events, thank you for the rose. Minister of Yeats for a rose. Y'all, gift for gifts. Goblins for you. That one's for you, Minister. That's for you, Oklahoma. And one more for you, Minister. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate you. How appropriate that you are getting goblin gifts when we're reading my goblin book. Millie, good to see you. Good to see you. Welcome in. Hope you're doing well. All right, so we'll break down these lines real quick, and then we'll go to the next book. So, opening line, goblins look like if cats, hairless cats, had thumbs and learned to walk on two legs. But while cats are allowed to commit as many crimes as they want on account of being cute and small, the same hasn't been true of goblins ever since they discovered arson. I'm just trying to teach. I'm trying to show you, like I was saying, what to expect with the book. Cute, silly, a little bit unexpected. So that's what I was trying to set up there. And then we jump into a little bit of scene setting with the battle between good and evil happening in the background. But yeah, that was my book. It's on Amazon. Please do pick it up if you thought it was interesting. And the links are in my bio to grab it. But we are doing titles today. So we're going to roll some dice and get another one off the list. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. Hooded Crow, good to see you, my guy. Welcome in. Pleasure to have you back. I hope you're doing well. Happy Wednesday. Phoenix says, come on, 8. Daddy needs a new book. Kat, thank you for saying it sounds like a good book. I appreciate you. Bernie's Booty, welcome back in. I'm doing good. We are just about to roll for the next book we're going to dissect the opening lines for. Hope you're doing good, Bernie's. Thanks for coming back. Pleasure to see you again. All right, y'all. We got 12 titles on the list. See which one we're going to do. Jackie, you think it's going to be number 1? That would be Seasons of the Moon. Someone else said 8. That would be Lethal Game. Let's see what we get. Shake it up nice and good and roll it. 11. Oh, how interesting. The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. I haven't read this one forever. Minister of Yeats, you've been hanging out a while, so you go ahead and give me a title, buddy. We just rolled Sherlock Holmes, so we're going to do that, but there's a spot on the list, so you give me the title you want. I think as the stream has grown, there just gets so many people here that I can't just take every title. So what I'm going to start doing is at the beginning of the stream, I'm going to fill up a list. Maybe we'll do 20, go up to 20, and then we'll just roll for it. And every time a title goes off the list, we will, put a new one on there. That way we can kind of keep titles coming and make it fair to see who can get their title picked. All right, let's get this set up. Oh my gosh. Is that... God, could the font be smaller? Oh boy, oh boy. I really wish this zoom function worked better. I'm gonna look like a 90-year-old person on this. Alrighty, Minister, did you drop a title? I'll take whichever one you want to recommend. Hooded Crow, you're having editing struggles, but you're working through. Hey man, I feel you. Editing is tough. I'm not a fan. Good luck with that. Belle Asphodel, Godspeed, reading that Pixie script. Yeah. All right, Minister, thank you. I got that title, Dark Descent of Elizabeth Frankenstein. How interesting. All right, y'all, we're doing The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, a classic. It's been a long time since I've read this, and God, this font is just punishing. Whew. All right, bear with me. A Scandal in Bohemia. To Sherlock Holmes, she is always the woman. I have seldom heard him mention her under any other name. In his eyes, she eclipses and predominates the whole of her sex. It was not that he felt any emotion akin to love for Irene Adler. All emotions, and that one particularly, were abhorrent to his cold, precise but admirably balanced mind. He was, I take it, the most perfect reasoning and observing machine that the world had ever seen. But as a lover, he would have placed himself in a false position. He never spoke of the softer passions, save with a jibe and a sneer. They were admirable things for the observer, excellent for drawing the veil from men's motives and actions, but for the trained reasoner to admit such intrusions into his own delicate and finely adjusted temperament was to introduce a distracting factor which might throw a doubt upon all of his mental results. Grit in a sensitive instrument, or a crack in one of his own high-powered lenses, would not be more disturbing than a strong emotion in a nature such as his. And yet there was but one woman to him, and that woman was the late Irene Adler, of dubious and questionable memory. Boy, it's a classic, and that's a heck of an opening, though. That is an opening, man. It's a long paragraph, but I really wanted to go through it because I was enjoying that. There's a reason it's a classic. I'm also a bit of a sucker for like the Victorian writing style, kind of Sense and Sensibility, classics of that sort, Wuthering Heights, etc., etc. This does really cool stuff. I really like this. Let's talk about it real quick. And by the way, Cisco, welcome in. A pleasure to have you. Thanks for being here, buddy. Bernie, you said you've been practicing writing every day. Now this morning it's your day off, so you're starting your first short story. Dude! Bernie, that's awesome, man. Hey, I'm so happy for you. Congratulations and good luck. Get a nice cup of coffee or whatever special drink you want, dude. Sit down and tear it up. You got this. Go get them. Seriously, y'all, applause in chat for Bernie's starting their first ever short story. That's exciting. I love to see that. Seriously, that's so cool, man. Adam Seats, what's my book's name? There's a bunch of them. I've written a bunch now. But the one that I'd like you to look at, if you wanted to pick one, is Wriggly Little Hands, right here. It's a comedy fantasy about goblins on a road trip. Please give it a look. The links are in my bio. It's on Amazon, Kindle Unlimited, all the good places. Thank you for asking, my friend, and thanks for being here. Let's talk about the opening lines of The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, a rare classic, like a big classic that we rolled. This is dense, right? It's dense writing, but it's really clever, though. Like, look, the opening line starts with, like, she was always the woman. And I always say opening lines have to make the reader ask a question. That's how you hook them and make them want to read more. Right off the bat, that makes you ask a question. It answers it in the next couple sentences by giving her name, Irene Adler. But then it makes you wonder, why is she the woman for Sherlock Holmes if he doesn't experience love? So it makes you go, why is she the woman? And then it sums up this massive paragraph with calling her the late Irene Adler. It's just so good. It's like a 3-step introduction, and it really just drags you all the way in. That's a heck of a start, man. An oldie but a goldie for sure. Maybe I'm due for a reread of some of the Sherlock Holmes stories. Thank you. It was on YouTube that suggested that. They said to call them Alex. So thank you, Alex, for suggesting that one. I enjoyed that a lot. All right, y'all. Another title. What's chat up to? Aaron, what's up? Good morning. Good to see you, and thank you for the heart me. Justin, hello, my friend. Good to see you. Hooded Crow, you said, I love the film and TV stories on Holmes, but I never read the books. I mean, from that, man, I recall them being good, but that really reminded me they might be better than I remember they were. Rafi, thank you for setting that up in Discord. Which, quick shout out, y'all, if you want to hang out with these cool folks, this stream community, once the stream's over, here's a link to our Discord. We'd love to have you in there. Rafi has just set up an opening lines thread, so if you want to share your opening line, please do it there. We can all look at it and talk about them. Thank you for the follow, Women Empowered. I appreciate you, and rockin' name. I dig it. Minister of Yeats, I go for, I'm here Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 a.m. Central Time. I always go for at least an hour. Could go up to 2 hours, 2.5 if we're really rocking and rolling, or if I have a busy day, we might cut it a bit earlier. I will be off this Friday and Monday because I'll be at Comic-Con. But otherwise, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, every week, we're here, 7 a.m. Central Time. Love to have you. All right, y'all. Cat's Curiosity thinks it's going to be a 4. Mike the Comic-Con, SDCC. We managed to get tickets this year. I'm pretty stoked about it. It's going to be a good time. All right, what do the dice have in store for us? One more roll. Or not one more, but another roll. It's going to be an 8. Phoenix, I know you're pulling for that 8. Cat's Curiosity wants a 4. Y'all, shake it up good and roll it out. 10. 10. This is Captured by Lauren B.L. I don't know this one. I like when I don't know them. I like to come in, completely cold. Thank you for submitting the author name with it as well, because Captured returned a lot of results. All right, this looks like dark romance, maybe from just the cover. But we'll see, huh? I've not heard of it. I like the purple color. Ooh, a little skulls peeking in. I'm pointing to it with my hands like you can see it. Skulls peeking in on the corners here. Interesting. Yeah, they're creepy, right? I'm definitely getting dark vibes from this. And the chain with the rose. All right, a lot of symbolism here on the cover. Let's see what the opening lines are like. Oh boy. Oh boy. The basement door seen from below. Ominous, y'all. I'm worried what direction this one's going. Alright, it's got a prologue. So, yeah, right, check in, not the basement door. Whew. Alright, let's read the prologue. I'm really worried about this one. I clutched the box containing a game of checkers to my 10-year-old chest and crept toward my mother's room. It was the game my mother and I played every night, though it was often hard to think about my next move with all the noise coming from the room further down the hall. When the screaming quieted on those nights and the man yelled for me, my mother would try to shield me with her broken wings. Heesh! Heesh! That is an ominous, creepy beginning. Is it bad? No. Do I like it? Also no. Oh boy. Can he finish our game first? She would ask. Sometimes it worked, but usually he wanted me to come and take my turn with the women after he and my brother had broken them. Oh boy. Okay, we're going to stop reading it there. I don't want to go further with that on stream. That feels sensitive. Creepy as all get out, y'all. What is this book about? Ouch. Okay, so this is very dark. Yeah, definitely 18 plus. I guess the cover would indicate that. Let's talk about the opening lines briefly. It starts so innocent, which is probably why it hits so hard, right? I clutched the box containing a game of checkers to my 10-year-old chest. That's such an innocent image. And then you immediately follow it up with the ominous sentence of, it was the game my mother and I played every night, though it was often hard to think about my next move with all the noise coming from the room further down the hall. Okay, so that's a really good 1-2 punch. The innocence and then the darkness. But y'all, personally, the moment I read that, pull the eject cable. I'm out of here, man. That is too dark for my taste. I'm okay with darkness and fantasy. I don't like it when it's in the modern day. You know, it's just a little too real for me, but that's personal preference. Art's subjective. It is objectively a good opening. So yeah, thank you for whoever suggested Captured. I am sufficiently creeped out. Alright, knock it off the list. Alright, y'all, I am going to take one more title. So first title to get in chat is going to be on our list, and then we're going to do one more roll for the day. Thank you for being with me here today, guys. Thank you for suggesting your titles. Justin had it loaded up. Sorry, Hooded Crow, you were close, but Justin just got it in. Forgotten by R.T. Heath. All right. Samples on Barnes & Noble, so is it not on Amazon? Well, I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Y'all, just as a reminder, for our last roll of the day, the list as it stands. And if yours doesn't get picked in this roll, please suggest it on the next one. So as we populate that list next time. You know what, actually? Hold on. I said we were going to do D20, right? I'm going to take more suggestions, up to 20, just as a practice run for how it's going to be going forward, because we could easily fill 20. And D20s are a little more fun, right? So if you got a title, I know we wanted Neuromancer. A lot of people were saying that. So Neuromancer's on there. What else we got? Justin says Neuromancer lives. I'm trying to think. Armada by Ernest Cline. Okay, yep, I'm familiar with that one. Yeah, it does make it harder to get that 7, Mike. Let's see. What else we got here? Fingers crossed for 9 because I'm so bad at getting up early. My dog woke me up today. Well, hey, Belle. They're always on YouTube, all the streams. So if you want to watch them after the fact, you're very welcome to. Given it's nice to have folks around for the live, but they're there if you want them. All right, Lies of Locke Lamora, Warriors, Into the Wild. Defiance of the Fall. Very familiar with that one. Phoenix, you are in that lit RPG / progression fantasy hole, huh? Stranger in a Strange Land. All right, we got 2 more. No Longer Human by Osamu Dazai. And looking for one more. James Trahant, we are going to roll that D20 to see what book we're going to read, what opening line we're going to read and talk about. Y'all looking for one more title. Who's got one more of their favorite books they want to recommend? Her Soul to Take, says Belle Asphodel. Her Soul to Take. All right, by Harley LaRue. Thank you, guys. All right, the list as it stands for the final roll. Seasons of the Moon, Futuristic Violence and Fancy Hats, A Song of Ice and Fire, Red Sister, Yellowface, The House on Needless Street, Chronicles of Elysium, Lethal Game, Last Rainy Day, Forgotten, Dark Descent, Fahrenheit 451, Neuromancer, Armada, Lies of Locke Lamora, Warriors Into the Wild, Defiance of the Fall, Stranger in a Strange Land, No Longer Human, and Her Soul to Take. Let's go. What are we going to get? Last predictions, folks. What's the roll going to be? 11, 13, or 18, says Minister of Yeats. Phoenix, I think you wanted a 7, right? No, Mike wanted the 7. Phoenix, you wanted an 8. Justin says 17. Hooded Crow says 13. Mike, you don't know. Yeah, we know, Mike. Raven Roxley, welcome in. You're here just in time for our last roll of the day. Drum roll, please, folks. Get it queued up. Here we go. Shake it up good, and D20 away. Ooh, it kind of ended, just kind of hit and landed. No roll there. But 15. The Lies of Locke Lamora. All right, a classic. A modern classic. I'll take it off the list. James, that website is called mighty-dice.com. It does some really fun dice stuff. Like, look at this. We can just go nuts with the dice in here, and then listen to this. I love it. Very fun app. But we have rolled our final title today. The Lies of Locke Lamora by Scott Lynch. A classic, a modern classic. Let's read. Well, we'll talk about the cover real quick. It's a nice I've not seen this cover for it. I really like this cover. I've seen several other covers. This is my favorite of them by far. Super cool. All right, let's get this opening line. Oh, beautiful font. Wow, I love that. I need to get this edition of the book. Neverpine Racing Network said, so I was watching one of your other videos. Are you not afraid that people will take your ideas? Neverpine, I'm not. That is a very commonly seen concern for newer writers. The reality of it is it doesn't happen that often. And if it does, it's not really a big deal because ideas are relatively easy to come by. Execution is hard. Books aren't really built on ideas. They're built on how you execute on that idea. And also, if I'm like sharing a story idea on here or something, I'm already way ahead of anybody that's trying to steal it from me, writing-wise. I'm going to beat them to publishing. That being said, it doesn't happen. I've heard in my 7 years of being an author full-time, I've heard of one incident of it happening, and that was from one friend to another. And even that was a bit of a corner case. It just doesn't happen that much. All right, y'all, we have rolled The Lies of Locke Lamora. Of course, we have to end on a little itty-bitty text font size to test the eyes again. But let's read the opening lines of The Lies of Locke Lamora and talk about why they work. And you're very welcome, Neverpine. Welcome in, by the way. Happy to have you. All right, Chapter 1, The Boy Who Stole Too Much. Get a little sip of water here. At the height of the long, wet summer of the 77th year of Sindhavani, The thief maker of Camor paid a sudden and unannounced visit to the eyeless priests at the temple of Perilandro, desperately hoping to sell him the Lamora boy. So, let's talk about that opening sentence. Long, dense, intriguing, love the ending. Personally, I think there's a little too much in-world stuff referenced here. That being said, that can be intriguing. Opening lines need to make the reader ask themselves a question, because if they have that question, they're going to hang out until they get the answer, or they're more likely to. That's how you hook them. The question that I'm most interested in here is hoping to sell him the Lamora boy. To refer to them as the Lamora boy is just interesting. It's a little ominous. It makes you go like, why are we referring to him like that? There's clearly some backstory here. But I know this opening pretty well. So let's continue with it a little bit. I want to read the next paragraph and a half. Gravy puddles, do you think ogres would love or hate hot sauce? I think the hot sauce wouldn't be hot for them. I think they'd just be like, what's the big deal? Because I'm thinking big and tough. Yeah. Have I got a deal for you? The thief maker began, perhaps inauspiciously. Another deal like Callow and Galdo, maybe, said the eyeless priest. I've still got my hands full training those giggling idiots out of every bad habit they've picked up from you, and replacing them with the bad habits I need. Great dialogue. Now, chains, the thief maker shrugged. I told you they were shit-flinging little monkeys when we made the deal, and it was good enough for you at the... Or maybe another deal like Subertha? The priest's richer, deeper voice chased the thief maker's objection right back down his throat. Great description. I'm sure you recall charging me everything but my dead mother's kneecaps for her. I should have paid you in copper and watched you spring a rupture trying to haul it away. Just a great back and forth. It's such a good back and forth in it. I believe this is also the book. Isn't this the one with the opening with the bird and the wizards? I swear that's this book. It goes into this whole big description. That's not this one? What am I confusing it with? The one that's got the big description of the wizards and how dramatic they are, and it's the third book? Okay, that makes sense. I love that opening. But this one is great. The dialogue is incredible right off the bat. Literally, there are many things you can do in opening lines to hook someone to continue reading your book. The dialogue on display here instantly makes me want to continue reading. It's so good. It's just a good back and forth. It's funny. It speaks to history between the two. It's intriguing. I love the title of Thief Maker. It's like, is that a job? No, Lies of Locke-Lamora. It's great. It's a modern classic for a reason. In summary, the opening paragraph I think is a bit heavy on place names that can trip you up, but ends on a poignant statement with desperately hoping to sell him the Lamora boy. It really makes you interested. Now, there's a good question, Jack Ann. You said, what if the book had just started with the dialogue? That's a good question. So what if your opening line was, have I got a deal for you, the thief maker began, perhaps inauspiciously. Another deal like Callow and Galdo, maybe, the eyeless priest said. I've still got my hands full training those giggling idiots out of every bad habit they picked up from you, and replacing them with the bad habits I need. Yeah, I think that could be a good opening. I'm not sure. I think I like the Lamora boy line best, but getting into the dialogue sooner is not a bad thing, because that's just really good dialogue, and the author's just showing their strengths, So rock on, Lies of Locke-Lamora. Great book to finish on, I think. That's a good one. Y'all, thank you for hanging out. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you suggesting the titles. If we didn't get to it this time, keep it in mind, because I'm going to fill the list up again when we do this stream format next Wednesday, and we will see if we can roll the dice and get to yours. Guys, if you don't know, I am author Alex Knight, Been writing full-time since 2018, and I stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 a.m. Central Time. We're always doing something fantasy-focused. Mondays, we do Q&A about author life, publishing, writing, all your questions that you want to ask. I answer them as best I can. And also, it's always a standing invitation. You can ask writing, publishing, reading, all that stuff questions at any point in any of the streams, and I'll happily answer them. On Wednesdays, we do opening lines where you suggest your favorite books. I read the opening lines. We talk about why they're good. And then on Fridays, we do Fantasy Map Friday, where we make fantasy maps live on stream. Now, this Friday and next Monday, I will be off because I'll be at San Diego Comic-Con. So I'm going to miss you guys, but keep an eye out for some videos coming out. I'm going to be at Comic-Con, so I'll definitely be making some content about that. And then Wednesday, we will be back. I'm going to miss you all, but it'll be fun to go do that. It's going to be fun to come back on Wednesday. We'll be charged up and ready to go. Thank you for the follows, everybody. I seriously appreciate it. If you had fun today and you want to do it again, please do give me a follow so I can catch you on the next one. Belle, I'm sorry. I don't think we got to your book title, but please do bring it back next time. It was a pleasure to meet you. Folks, as always, a special thank you to Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech.com for the use of his songs Farm, Manor, Cottages, and Northern Glade, which provided our background music today. As well, an extra special thank you to community member Raffi the Engineer, who provided our 5th background song, made it just for this stream, Midnight at the Round Table. Raffi, incredible, my guy. I appreciate you. As always, a shout out to my excellent mods, Melissa Lee 28, Raffi the Engineer 1, Happy Harpy, Simp 1X, other name wasn't available, aka Slindy, Leisha T. I saw you just pop in, Leisha. Good to see you. And Aaron Winnick. Y'all, thank you very much for keeping the vibes up. I appreciate y'all being here. You guys rock. Thank you. Couldn't do it without you. And lastly, folks, like I said, if you enjoyed the stream, please do give me a follow so I can catch you on the next one. Alex asked, how do you decide an idea is worth writing about? Like, not worrying it's too similar to something else. Alex, don't worry. If it's too similar to something else. People overvalue originality early in their writing career. They think they have to write something that's never been seen before. But the reality is, what readers want is something they've kind of seen before, executed really well. Ideas are cheap, execution is hard. But it's incredibly valuable. When you're starting out, don't worry about the originality of your idea. Worry about how much you're excited about it. Write what excites you the most, you think is the coolest, most entertaining thing, because you have to entertain yourself first before the readers are ever going to be entertained. So pick what's coolest and most exciting for you. That's what I always say. Thank you for the question. Y'all, a shout out to everybody who joined us today. Minister of Yeats, it was a pleasure to meet you. Thanks for being here. Melissa Lee, Mare Bear Streams, and Josiah R. Anderson, good to see y'all again. Thank you for tuning in. Belle Asphodel, a pleasure to meet you with your awesome name. Raffi the Engineer, Hooded Crow, other name wasn't available in Blaze Gaming. Guys, thank you for coming back. Always a pleasure to have you. Get Off My Lawn Guy, Leisha T, Simp1X, same for y'all. Lord of the Flyest, the 5th, Alex Drums, Mex, and Kelby. Pleasure to meet y'all. Thanks for being here. Shout out to user 1480418667458 and Levy Brown and Harry Chimp and Milka and author Joe Kaiser. Pleasure to have y'all. Thank you for tuning in, spending your morning with me. Joel Ubaldo, Ethercom, Mag Was, Ross Wells, Thick Booty Panda, Frad, and Volkasava. Y'all, thank you for being here. Killer 1975, Paul Aguero, maybe? Scarlet King, The Firefly Kitchen. That's a cool one. Ian Lintern, Ravioli the Bird, Neon Flavored Bees, Bumblebees, and Tyler and Friends. Y'all, thank you for joining me today. An absolute pleasure to have you. I have been Alex Knight. These are my books. If any of them look interesting to you, please check them out. They are linked in my profile, in my bio. They're all on Amazon. And this is the one I'd really like you to get if you were going to get any of them. But thank you for hanging out with me today, folks. I will be back next Wednesday. I apologize. We are taking Friday and Monday off as I'm traveling to San Diego Comic-Con. But we will be back after that. And keep an eye out for videos in the meantime. There will be some fun content coming out from Comic-Con. And I can't wait to see y'all again on Wednesday. So, until then, folks, be good, stay positive, be excellent to each other. Thank you for tuning in, and I cannot wait to see you next time. It's going to be a long week, man, but we'll be back. We'll be rocking. So, folks, be good. Thank you for being here, and we'll catch you next time.